What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video here on B Mills Wrestling. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my Wrestlepalooza full reaction. Obviously, if you're keeping up with my channel, you know that I usually post my reactions to these PLEs every time, at least, a couple hours after the show, at most just a day. It has been a couple days, so I do apologize that I haven't posted a video in over a week, but we are back, hopefully back on a consistent schedule. So we're going to start off with today's video, and that being the Wrestlepalooza reaction of mine. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. And don't forget to leave a like down below. Alright guys, let's get into the video. Alright, so let's just get it out of the way. Let's get into the very first match on Wrestlepalooza, being John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Now, you can tell by the tone of my voice, I just didn't enjoy this match or really the entire Wrestlepalooza card at all. And, this match, this is how they started off their whole ESPN thing, right? Made it a whole big deal, telling everyone to go pay $30 a month to watch ESPN, right? Watch WWE on ESPN, which is a whole $22 more than what you were paying on Peacock. So, I was at least expecting to get a really good show and a great way to open the show between John Cena and Brock Lesnar. It was bad enough that the feud between these two, the build-up, the storyline was awful already. We didn't get any face-to-face interactions, any promos right to each other. It was just like old video packages from like their rivalry of the past, right, in the 2000s. And then Brock Lesnar, showing up to F5 Corey Graves and talk to R-Truth and F5 him. We just didn't get anything between these two. It just felt so stupid. It felt like, why are we even getting this match at all between John Cena and Brock Lesnar? And the only reason I was down for it is because, well, we're finally going to see John Cena, get over the ghost of his past in Brock Lesnar. He's finally going to beat Brock Lesnar in this match at Wrestlepalooza, since he only has so many matches left. He's down to 5 dates. So I was for sure, thinking he was going to beat Brock in this match. And no, what happened? We see Brock Lesnar hit John Cena with like 10 F5s. We get literally not even a 10-minute match, I want to say. I don't even know if it reached 10 minutes. It was just a beatdown from Brock Lesnar hitting John Cena with a bunch of F5s, suplexes, whatever. We barely saw John Cena get any offense in this match, and that was it. Brock Lesnar just won. That was the match. Just so disappointing, man. Like, this is ridiculous. Why are you treating John Cena like this with 5 dates left on his retirement tour? Why are you having him get fed to Brock Lesnar? What does this do for Brock Lesnar? I get that he just came back after 2 years, so it's an interesting choice to have him lose, but he'd be losing to the greatest of all time in John Cena. That doesn't hurt Brock Lesnar at all. I just don't understand the booking decision here. And it was said on Twitter that John Cena actually was originally supposed to win this match. So, again, why did we change it? Why did Cena lose to Lesnar? I also saw something saying they're not going to run this back at Crown Jewel. So, why? Why have John Cena lose to Brock Lesnar and get dominated if he's not even going to get a rematch at Crown Jewel to beat him, right? And I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to be his last match, because they advertised this as last time ever between Cena and Lesnar. They did it with Randy, did it with Punk. Obviously, they're not doing those 2 matches again. So I really don't get the booking decision here, guys. I really don't. Why have John Cena lose in a horrible way that he did with only 5 dates left? He's supposed to be winning these matches. And not only that, he's supposed to be having fun matches, like we saw between Cena and Cody at SummerSlam, like we saw with Logan at Clash in Paris, like we saw with Sami Zayn on SmackDown for the US title. Why couldn't we just get somewhat of a fun match? Even if it was Brock dominating most of the match, but then at the end we see Super Cena start to come out, and he, comes back in the match, and he finally gets over Brock Lesnar. He beats Brock Lesnar in a cool way. Why couldn't that happen? I just don't understand. I feel like that would have been a much more cool way to go into this ESPN deal. These new people that are watching the show, seeing John Cena, a guy who everybody knows, obviously everyone knows Brock Lesnar as well, but like everybody grew up watching John Cena and rooting for Cena. So, to see him, beat Brock Lesnar in a cool way, that would have been, in my opinion, a way better marketing decision. So this, Brock Lesnar beating John Cena, squashing him in this match, made zero literal sense to me. It actually it made me so infuriated. I hated this booking decision. As for where we go now, Brock Lesnar, obviously we saw Paul Heyman introduce him in this match. I think that we're going to start to see Brock, with the Vision a little more. He's not going to be in the Vision, but I think this is all for War Games. I think Brock is going to be on Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, their squad, at War Games. So I don't know. I don't really know what exactly else they do with Brock other than put him in that War Games match, because they're going to need 2 other guys. Obviously they have Seth, Braun, and Bronson. They're going to need 2 more. It's probably going to be Brock and Drew if I had to guess. But for John Cena, I genuinely don't know, because John Cena doesn't have any scheduled dates from Wrestlepalooza to Crown Jewel. It's just PLE, PLE. There's no episodes of Raw. Obviously, he had his last episode of SmackDown in Chicago a couple weeks ago. So where's the build at for his next feud? Because obviously he's going to have a match. I don't think he's just going to show up and cut a promo. That would make no sense, especially with how limited we are with dates. Like, we want to see him have as many matches as possible. And if they're not doing Brock Lesnar again, I don't understand how you can have a match with anybody else. Because if they did Brock Lesnar again, at least it could be, oh, John Cena got destroyed. He's unable to compete, right? Medically, he's not medically cleared. So then, nobody thinks he's showing up at Crown Jewel, and then he does, and then you get Cena Lesnar too. I guess that's not going to happen, though. So if I had a guess of, who's going to be his next opponent, I don't know. Maybe AJ Styles, maybe Dominic Mysterio. I'm not too sure. But I don't know how you build that story with John Cena not being able to show up on any episodes of Raw or SmackDown. So whatever. This match was complete trash. Terrible way to start off on ESPN. Following that absolute garbage match, we had the tag team match between The Vision, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed versus the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. Now, honestly, going into this match, I didn't have too much expectations for it. I didn't think it was going to be great. I wasn't, that interested in the match. The way I would have been interested in this match is if the tag titles were on the line. I can say that a million times. The tag titles should be on Braun and Bronson. That is who they should be on, right? They should not be on the Judgment Day, who haven't defended the titles more than one time in any of their, 3 title reigns. It makes no sense to me why they keep putting the titles on them. It's just another horrible booking decision. I don't understand it, but the match itself, it was a cool match. I thought it was fine. It was cool to see the Usos reunited, doing the 1D, doing tag team moves that we haven't seen in a while. This was their first traditional tag team match in, a couple of years, I believe. So it was just cool to see them back together. I am very happy that they did reunite. I think it's so needed, for Jimmy especially, because he just was in the bloodline vortex over on SmackDown with Solo, just not doing anything of importance. For Jey Uso, I feel like, he just doesn't really have too much of a character right now. It just feels like yeet, yeet, yeet. But at least we're now getting, him showing, shades of Roman in his personality, the way he's talking, the way he's moving. And obviously we also had LA Knight, special guest ref this match. I didn't mention that. I didn't even know he was special guest reffing the match until I literally saw him come out. I guess that got announced, right before Wrestlepalooza, because that was definitely not announced on Raw or SmackDown. I definitely would have known about that. But once again, it's one of those cases where it just doesn't make any sense of why he's special guest reffing the match. They never usually tend to make sense with who they put the special guest ref, like with Bianca in that match at what was it, Evolution. That didn't really make too much sense. Yeah, like I said, this match, it was cool. I didn't think it was tremendous, but it wasn't a bad match. I thought it was just a cool tag team match. Like I said, I think the only thing that could have made it better was they put the tag titles on the line. That would have made people more invested. But Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, they picked up the win in this match because LA Knight was kind of, checking on Jey Uso, because Jey Uso got a little bloody because he hit himself with a chair, ricocheted off of Braun Breaker, which I thought was hilarious. He was really bleeding. So LA Knight was kind of checking on him, and then we see the Bronze take advantage, hit him with a spear, and then a splash, or tsunami, I should say, from Bronson Reed to win the match. I think this was the right decision. I think you can't make all the Vision members lose. That would just make no sense at all. So to see Braun and Bronson win this match, I felt like it was needed. I felt like you couldn't have all the Vision members lose, especially since they've been losing matches left and right. It feels like SummerSlam, they lost the tag team match to Jay and Roman. I thought they should have won that match. Little tag team matches on Raw or singles matches, Braun losing to Jay in that Extreme Rules match in Philly. I felt like that was an interesting decision. So yeah, it was good to see Braun and Bronson pick up the win in this match. Obviously, that's the main event group. That's the big bad heel group that they're pushing. So obviously, they should get wins here and there. They should get wins more than just once in a while. So this was needed. I also think they are going to run this tag team match back. My only request is just make the tag titles get involved some way, shape, or form. Just schedule the Judgment Day versus the Bronze. Have the Bronze go up to the Judgment Day in the clubhouse, just like Rusev did with Dom. Right? That's heel on heel. You can do it. And then just have them say, we're next in line. We want those tag titles. And then just have them destroy the Judgment Day, take the titles, and then, redo this with the Usos, and then you can do it for months and months. I don't really care. If you have Usos and Bronze feud for the tag titles, I don't care how long it goes on for, because that would save the tag division from whatever shambles we are in right now with the Judgment Day. So yeah, not a bad match overall, but yeah, the Bronsons, they pick up the win. The next match that we had on this Wrestlepalooza card was the match for the vacant Women's World Championship between Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer. This I fully expected to be the match of the night. We've seen their matches in the past. Obviously, they've ended in disqualifications, but the match before, obviously, they've just been so good. They're two of the best in-ring competitors that WWE has. So I was very happy with the decision to have these two be in the match for the Women's World Title. It just made sense because Stephanie won the Battle Royal back at Evolution, which feels like so long ago, by the way. Io Sky, obviously, she was the former champion. She never got a proper one-on-one rematch. It made sense. But I will say the build, the storyline to this match just wasn't good. They weren't having Stephanie appear on TV too much. Io's been involved with like Asuka and Rhea, so yeah, there hasn't been much of a storyline. They were just kind of banking on a good match between these two, and a good match we got. All right, Io and Stephanie, like as expected, put on an absolute classic. The just tactical wrestling in this match between these two was phenomenal. And I also went into this match not knowing who was going to win. This was very unpredictable in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you guys thought that was an unpredictable match, because I thought it was. But yeah, we obviously see a great match between these two where they're going back and forth, false finishes. We think Io's going to win. She doesn't win. Stephanie kicks out. And, at the end, ultimately, we see Stephanie get on the top rope, hit that awesome move, that splash type on Io Sky to pick up the win and win her first Women's World Championship on the main roster. This is such a cool moment for Stephanie. We also saw them, showing signs of respect after the match, which I thought was really cool. Io just giving Steph her flowers. This was just a great decision, in my opinion. I felt like this was the right move because Stephanie is super over. She was a great champion in NXT. She held both titles, the North American and the NXT Women's Championship. I thought, it was the right idea to put the title on her. Even if she just got called up, I don't think that really matters in this case scenario because Io Sky is dealing with Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Rhea Ripley, and that storyline, which is going to go into Crown Jewel, which I'll talk about in the next video I'm going to make, which will be my Crown Jewel predictions. But for Stephanie Vauquer, I felt like this was just right because, obviously with Stephanie, you can get a bunch of new feuds that you've never seen before. Io Sky, we've run a lot of the feuds that we would probably get, although I felt like Io versus Asuka could have been an interesting match for the world title, but that storyline doesn't have to be about the world title. It never was. So Stephanie holding the title, she can go on a feud with like Lyra Valkyria, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, Bayley, Becky Lynch maybe down the line if she loses the title. AJ Lee maybe, I don't know if that one will happen. Liv Morgan when she comes back. I feel like there's a lot for Stephanie to do, a lot of new feuds we haven't seen, and a bunch of great matches that we could be witnessing. As for Stephanie also, I feel like it was a safe choice because obviously Crown Jewel, we're going to see champion versus champion, so she's not going to have to get into a feud for her title right away. She's going to probably go against Tiffany, or if Jade wins the title at Crown Jewel. And then after that, I assume she's going to be in the War Games match, in my opinion. And I could be wrong on this. I thought it was going to be Team Becky versus Team AJ, and I thought that Stephanie was going to be on Team AJ. You guys can watch my video of predicting AJ Lee's return. I did think that that's the route they were going to go, but I also think they might do WWE versus NXT at War Games. They did kind of like tease that at NXT Homecoming with William Regal and Shawn Michaels and Triple H, so they might do that. Either way, I think Stephanie will be in the match because I feel like they want to showcase one of the best that there is in a War Games match. She also hasn't competed in a War Games match, so it would be her first. So I feel like that is a good decision. So yeah, she's probably not really going to have a world title feud for a little while, so they have time to properly plan it out, and hopefully it's a better reign than what we got with Io Sky, because obviously that was horrible. But yeah, super cool match, super cool moment for Stephanie Vauquer, and just overall very happy that she won the world title in this match. Following that, we had the much-anticipated mixed tag team match between the team of Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and AJ Lee. This, by far, was the best-built story going into Wrestlepalooza, without a doubt. The whole Becky Lynch, slapping CM Punk around. Well, first of all, costing him the match back at Clash in Paris for the title, low-blowing him, and then revealing herself as the next member of the Division. But then also, like I said, slapping him around because he can't do anything about it, and Seth Rollins just kind of laughing. And then we all get the much-anticipated return of AJ Lee. She finally does return at SmackDown. And then we have, some segments on SmackDown and Raw between Division, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins I'm talking about, and AJ Lee and CM Punk, of course. So I thought this was awesome. Like, this was just a great build towards the match. We saw Becky Lynch get the upper hand on AJ Lee on the last episode, the go-home episode of Raw, and obviously, it probably, led us all to the fact that AJ Lee was going to win the match. I don't think that there was ever going to be a world where she didn't win her return match, but the match itself was pretty cool. I did enjoy the match between all four of these people. I thought it was just like a very well coordinated match, especially for AJ's first match back. They did take a while to get her in the match. They wanted that hot tag. They kind of milked it for a little bit there, but she finally got into the match, and then she started going crazy. I just thought it was fun. I thought this was the definition of a fun match. I also just think this match should have main evented the show. We'll get into the main event, but like this was the best built story. It should have main evented, especially if they weren't going to go with any crazy plot twist or changes or appearances at the main event. Like this should have been the main event without a doubt. I don't care if a title wasn't on the line. This should have been the main event because this was the best match of the night. Just super fun. AJ Lee hitting like the Black Widow in this match. Her and CM Punk hitting tag team moves on Seth Rollins and also on Becky Lynch, that sliced bread move. Going to the outside as well, where we see AJ Lee and Becky Lynch on one table, and then we have Seth Rollins and CM Punk on another table, and then we have Becky throw AJ into Punk and Seth, breaking the table. I thought that was a cool spot. And then ultimately, they get back into the ring at the end of the match. Becky Lynch goes for the manhandle slam. AJ reverses it into her finisher, the Black Widow. And then, obviously, no one's there to help. Seth Rollins isn't there to help. He's taken out. CM Punk's taken out. And then we see Becky Lynch tap out. Pretty obvious, but it doesn't matter. It was obvious for everyone that she was going to win by doing the Black Widow, but it was just such a cool moment to see her finally get her first win in the WWE in 10 years. Like, she hasn't been in the company in over a decade. So, like, to see her, have her moment in, this match, making the Women's IC champion tap out, I felt like that was what needed to happen. So, I'm super happy with that. The decision was a great decision. Obviously, they made a lot of bad decisions this night. This was one of the bright spots of Wrestlepalooza, the brightest spot, if I'm going to be honest. Stephanie winning also was cool, but this match was just so good. It absolutely saved the show. I feel like without this, Wrestlepalooza would have been an absolute nightmare. I feel like just because they had this match, like, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But obviously, looking into the future, Crown Jewel, in my opinion, I think we could be getting ourselves into a Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee match for the IC title, which I could 100% be down for. I think AJ is going to be the one to dethrone Becky. I just don't know when exactly that's going to be. Maybe they don't do it there. Maybe they do it at War Games. Maybe they do it after War Games. Whatever it is, I think AJ is going after that title, especially after making the champion tap out. For CM Punk and Seth Rollins, they're just going to continue to feud all the way, in my opinion, up until the Royal Rumble. That's when I think the title's going to change hands. Could be wrong on that, obviously, but obviously they're going to feud going into War Games. But it is interesting because we're going to see Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, so I don't know exactly what they do with CM Punk in the meantime. Because Seth's going to be occupied, I don't know if they put Punk in a mini feud. I feel like that doesn't really make too much sense. Or they just have him, like, cost Seth at Crown Jewel. I would actually hate that. But yeah, overall, this was a pretty good match. I thought it was the best match of the show. I felt like it did exactly what it was supposed to do and a little more. So yeah, happy with the result that AJ Lee and CM Punk picked up the win in this match. Now let's get into the main event of Wrestlepalooza, that being Cody Rhodes defending his undisputed WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre. Obviously, going into this match, there wasn't much of a build because Cody Rhodes was in Australia filming his part for the movie, the live Street Fighter movie or whatever it is. So it was kind of just Drew McIntyre building up this story by himself, cutting promos, and then we see the involvement of Randy Orton as well. We see Drew and Randy have a match with Drew winning, and then Drew trying to take out Randy after the match, and then Cody Rhodes comes back. After his little hiatus, he was written off TV because Drew hit him with a Claymore through the table. That's exactly what Drew was trying to do to Randy until Cody came back. Cody got the upper hand on Drew. And then, obviously, we would see the next week, we would see the contract signing between Cody and Drew, where we would see Drew hit him with a cheap shot, and then Drew ultimately stood tall. So that told a lot of people that, Drew McIntyre is probably going to win at Cody Rhodes is probably going to win at Wrestlepalooza because Drew got the upper hand a couple times on Cody Rhodes. And yeah, that's what happened. Like, Cody Rhodes won this match, and there wasn't anything cool about it. Like, this was just, it was an okay match, too. Like, it wasn't a crazy match. There's not too many memorable moments of this match. It was just, And, like, they talked about Wrestlepalooza like it was going to be WrestleMania, right? It was nothing like WrestleMania. And, like, if you can get over the fact that Brock, destroyed Cena, which I still cannot, but, like, if they had a cool main event with something crazy happening, I would have been able to. But no, this main event, it just sucked. Like, it was boring. It felt like it could have been a SmackDown match. There was just nothing important in this match. And it was rumored that Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre pitched the idea to have Randy Orton get involved in the match and accidentally cost Cody the title with Drew winning. Could you imagine how cool that would have been if we saw Randy go out there? Which it could have made sense because Drew tried to, take out Randy. And they've been feuding for months now. So Randy coming out there to try to help Cody would have made so much sense storyline-wise. It's not like it's just random. Like, oh, Randy, go out there and, cost Cody the match. No, it would make sense because, he's been feuding with Drew McIntyre, like I just said. So he could have went out there after they had, their match and they had enough time to fight, right? He goes out there, and I don't know what way they could have done it, but somehow he accidentally cost Cody the match, and then Drew takes advantage and wins. That would have been cinema. That would have been perfect, because then you can have Cody chase the championship again. He's better when he's chasing the championship. I think we can all agree on that. And then you can also just have Cody and Randy start to get a little heated towards each other because he cost him the match. Right? And then you could have Randy eventually turn heel on Cody. And then you could have maybe a triple threat down the line with Drew as the champion and Randy and Cody getting in each other's way. And then maybe one of them wins the title. And then you go on to have that big feud and big match between Cody and Randy. It was right there. It was right there. I don't know why they did this. I guess the only reason I could think that they didn't do it is because they didn't want to do Drew versus Seth at Crown Jewel, because that doesn't make too much sense, because they're both heels. Not that it's ever stopped WWE before, but there's not much of a storyline there. At least with Cody and Seth, you have a legitimate storyline, from their past, from all the matches they had. Cody's 3-0 against them since he came back to WWE. And then also, obviously, Seth Rollins, helping him out at WrestleMania 40, being his shield. There's a lot of story there. I hope they do go into all that for this match at Crown Jewel. If that was the price of, not having this awesome ending, I hope they do that. But, it would have just been so cool to see Drew McIntyre win the title again. I want to see him have another reign, man. What's it going to take? The guy's been doing his best work in his entire career, and he's not getting, the justification. He's not getting the opportunities. He's not, given the title. It just doesn't make any sense to me what they're doing with Drew McIntyre. I hope that they do continue the storyline. Like I said, they're going to do the championship versus championship match for the Crown Jewel championship at Crown Jewel. So what does Drew McIntyre do in the meantime? I don't know. I really don't. Maybe he continues to feud with Randy Orton, but I feel like that's just there's no title on the line. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But hopefully after Crown Jewel, they can start up this feud again with Drew and Cody. Maybe they do it again, and then they have Randy cost him the match. But then again, I don't know if it's going to make as much sense as it would have made here. But either way, it wasn't a good match in my opinion. It was okay, in-ring work, and then being promised all these cool surprises and whatnot, getting nothing. No one showing up. No crazy swerves. It was lame. Wrestlepalooza, in my opinion, might go down as the worst PLE of 2025. I'm so serious when I say that, especially when you make people pay $30 a month instead of $8 a month, and you still only give them 5 matches. I thought with Wrestlepalooza, first thing on ESPN, I thought we were at least going to get 7 matches. I felt like that would have been cool, or just really long matches, but clearly not. John Cena versus Brock Lesnar failed to reach 10 minutes, so that's cool. But yeah, this was really bad, guys. I really just didn't enjoy this show. I hope that going forward they can have better PLEs on ESPN, because this one, what scares me is that this was the first one. This is the one that kicks off their ESPN whatever, and you just let everybody down. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. I hope that it does get better in the future, because that was not worth $30 at all. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button down below. Don't forget to comment down below what future videos you guys would like to see from me. Alright guys, peace.